אני נמצא באריזונה, באלקור. באלקור. אני לא יודע כמה ישראלים היו פה, אני בטוח שמעט מאוד, ואני די בטוח שאני הרב הראשון שמגיע לפה. אז אני אעדכן אתכם מה קורה כאן.
Facility, you're going to see pictures. These are our patients. These are people that we already have in cryopreservation. Matherine here, she's our youngest patient. She was just shy of her 3rd birthday. She was born with brain cancer, and her mother and father were physicians in Thailand. So they basically converted one of their rooms into a surgical suite. So when it was time to take care of her, we were able to do it right away there. Brought her here for cryopreservation. She's actually the youngest one. After her, the oldest person from there is 21. So of all the people we have, she's the only one that doesn't have life experiences. And then Du Hong, she was our first Chinese member. She was actually a well-known science fiction writer over there. And then when she got cryopreserved, they went really crazy about it, and the Chinese government said no. But now they have 2 biotech companies over there that offer cryopreservation services for their citizens, which is probably better. And then Du Hong, she's from China. Dick Jones up on the corner there, he actually won an Emmy for a skit that he did for the Carol Burnett show, which was a very funny lady from early 60s, 70s. And we still get residuals from one of the offshoots from that. It's kind of interesting. All right, and then on that side we have, we have found a lot of people that, honestly, I like this one because she looks like my mom. So I put that one up there. That's the only reason. She's one of our board members' mother, but she looks like my mom.
There's
so
no
I
name.
Put it up there.
No name?
If there's no name on there, then they're confidential. That's about all I can tell you. But she reminds me of my mom. My mom had that same poofy hairstyle and everything. It was just awesome. And then over there, you can see we actually do pets too. We have 87 pets, mostly cats and dogs, as you see there. But we also have a rhesus monkey. We have a box turtle. That was a sad. The guy left his turtle in care of his brother while he went traveling for a month. And I don't know how you kill a turtle. They're low maintenance animals.
Is that like for science or is it a philosophy?
No, they're pets. Alcor offers, not only cryopreserve yourself, but your pets as well. So a lot of people, 87 pets have been cryopreserved so far.
Okay.
It's very expensive. And then we have chinchilla too. We have a gentleman, one of our members has like 7, 8 chinchillas, and we've frozen 2 of them already so far. All right, so we're going over to the next section. All right, this is a snapshot of what cryonics is. From the time you get clinical death, there's nothing more medical science can do for you. We stabilize the body, we start cooling it down, we add medicines, a blood thinner, an anesthetic. We want to keep the oxygen in the body as long as possible while we transfer you to the lab. Once we get you to the lab, we start adding our cryoprotectant solutions, cooling you down to minus 124, and then that's where it's called vitrification, when our solution turns basically to glass, and that's how it protects the body. And then it goes all the way down to minus, I think it was minus 196 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature of liquid nitrogen. And the final step is in cryopreservation there. But step 8 would be, in the future, 50 to 150 years away, will be revival. We're not there yet, so Alcor tries to get you into preservation with the least amount of damage to your body as possible, the best we possibly can do. And the way to do that is to be here in Arizona when you expire. Not everybody can do that, so Alcor goes to their location. We call it standby. Basically, on your deathbed, our team goes to your location, so as soon as you're pronounced, we can get you to Arizona as quickly as possible.
Any country?
Most of them. Like we've retrieved somebody from Israel, but anywhere else in the Middle East might be kind of sketchy. So
okay, but Israel can?
Yeah, we actually have 2 members that live there.
Okay, nice.
Yes, and then here is basically a history of cryonics, starting at Benjamin Franklin, one of our founding fathers, probably a brilliant man ahead of his time, thought you had to be, basically, he knew there had to be a preserving solution, so he thought maybe wine or that, because that's about their level of their education at that time, but he knew that there had to be a solution. Alcor didn't get started until 1972, but the first person to be cryopreserved was in 1967, Dr. James Bedford. It's what we call an amateur cryopreservation. He made his own dewar and had his family. He's what we call a straight freeze, just frozen, straight frozen. There's no solutions because there was no companies at the time. Alcor got him by basically, when did Dr. Bedford get here? We got him probably in about the mid 80s when we took over all of Cryocare's place. So he's actually the longest person to be in cryopreservation, almost over 50 years now. And then Alcor moved to Arizona from Riverside in 1994, and we've been here ever since. Arizona's a lot more business friendly than California.
And also because the
Earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, everything, you know, Arizona, even though it's hot, that's about the most we have to deal with. And we're acclimated to that. We have a
cold in the hot, in the heat,
yeah,
right?
Freezing in the desert.
Yeah.
So they're coming this way. This is our 3D printer. We actually have 3 of them. This is the one that we use out front for when a person finishes up their membership or gives us a donation. We'd like to send them. It's a replica of the doer, the container we keep our patients in. So this one actually glows in the dark, and we give those away for donations. And then we do just a standard silver looking one for new members. As you can see, this is our 3D printed mask. So if the guys can't find the components they need, we have to manufacture it ourselves. Currently we have a really brilliant father-son team, Steve and Jacob Graber. Both of them are just brilliant engineers, and they're the ones that take care of all this stuff and bring it up there. As you can see, the printers are actually kind of neat. This was 3D printed, so it's pretty versatile. So that's what makes it really interesting. Obviously it's not running right now because we don't have anything to print at the moment. Normally this one runs to do our doers. All right, I got some pictures here. As you can see throughout the facilities, we like to keep pictures and let everybody see what's going on. This is what it looks like when the doers come in. We used to have them made in California until some government bureaucrat was seriously concerned during our testing phase when we fill it up with liquid nitrogen and then we just let it boil off to see how long it takes. You know, that's how they test it. And they were really concerned about the environmental concerns. Liquid nitrogen goes into the air. Obviously didn't understand it was 76% nitrogen, so really doesn't hurt it. So we found another one in another facility in Texas. We not only do a better job, they don't cost as much. That's nicer. So this is what it looks like when it's filling up. We top off the doers about every 2 weeks. Gets a nice foggy effect. We actually have a humidifier, so like on Monday, we had a South Korean media crew come in. So we put some humidity in there and we turn it on so it gives us a nice foggy effect. You know, gives that science look to it. Otherwise, you don't really see anything in Arizona because it's so dry. Sure. All right, here's some more of our patients. I like to go through these guys. This gentleman, he went up all the way to the California State Appeals Court to have a death with dignity, so allow him to do a physician-assisted suicide, and they told him no. He lived another 10 years, and he was in Arizona when he died. He got a very good cryopreservation. And in December of 2018, Alcor did its first death with dignity case out of California. Went very, very well. They called us up, said that everything was ready to go, our team was set, and then we did another one in 2020 up in Washington State. That one came out pretty good too. So ideally we want you in Arizona, but Arizona tends to be a little bit more conservative than Washington and California, so it's going to be a while before we get there. And then this gentleman, he was been in preservation now almost 30 years. His mom sends him a birthday card and a Christmas card every year. And with your membership, you get a box, what we call a memory box. It's a small case about the size of a case of paper to put things like that. Letters from mom, pictures, memoirs, everything. Little things.
There's no program?
I'm sorry?
There's no program? There's no program like computer? No?
Some people,
no, virtual thing, not physical thing?
These are physical. We have we bought space in an old salt mine. It's basically it's called underground vaults and storage. They converted an old salt mine into a storage facility. Hollywood uses it, things like that. People just want to store, you know, like you would for the Smithsonian. That's what the place where this would look like. Underground, 700 feet, so you can take some personal belongings with you. Our Chinese national, her daughter sent her this beautiful outfit and some pictures. Said my mom would want her own clothes, so she sent one outfit, vacuum packed, and then pictures for her mom. So I thought that was kind of nice. So and then
that's funny because there's a saying in Judaism that say when the dead come to life, they become with the clothes on it.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
That's literally what you're doing, like with your own clothes. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So what else do we have here? All right. Then this gentleman, he was actually his wife called. He passed away overnight he fell down. He was watching TV, fell asleep, and he just didn't wake up. His wife called us the very next day, and it got through no problem.
So you need to be a good wife, a good family,
Yeah,
because sometimes...
sometimes family members are very difficult because they don't believe in this, which is fine. You don't have to believe it, but you have to respect their choice to do this.
Right.
But not everybody does that. So unfortunately,
that's
we
a
lost
problem.
members that way.
Right.
This area is called the dry lab. This is where they assemble their kits. The kits are basically everything you need to do to start a cryopreservation in the field. We have them set up several places around the country where we have high concentrations of members. 3 in California, a third of the membership lives there. Oregon, the Midwest, New York, Florida, and Texas. So we have them throughout there. So if something comes up, they can just, grab what they need. Most of it that they have there is already stationed. All right, so we're going this way to our surgical bay. They're doing different experiments. We are a scientific research facility, so, and I'll be honest with you, I do, membership, so I don't know everything that they have on here. It's so cold. All right, now this is our surgical suite. I don't think.
Can you go in? Or just...
Yeah, let's go in. I gotta show you stuff. They're redoing it right now, anyways. Yeah, it's freezing. Okay, so this is our, that's the ice bath. When we're transporting our patient from whatever facility they're in or at home, if they're within 1,000 miles radius, we can go get them ourselves. We use body bags because obviously they are made to hold bodies. Everybody is covered in water ice. They're intubated. We want to keep as much oxygen in their body as long as possible. This is the cooling mask. It has a pump on it so that the water that's melting, it takes that cold water and washes it overhead. So we're still cooling everybody down. This is a thumper. It's a portable CPR unit. It keeps the heart going while we're transporting them to the lab. And then once they get here, this all comes off and they go over to the table here. So you see it actually angles so that everything drips off. And it collects blood, body fluids, and melting ice all in the buckets on the bottom there. Everybody gets their head shaved. We drill 2 boreholes on the back of the heads. We have these very sensitive microphones they call crack phones, one on each hemisphere of the brain, and if your whole body, a couple throughout the trunk of your body. They can literally hear cells cracking. So if it sounds like there's too many, they stop, let the body rest, and then continue on. If you're a neural, you get your head separated between the 6th and 7th vertebrae, goes to the neural box right there. They go through the carotid artery in both procedures. We'll take out the blood and body fluids. At the same time, we're introducing our cryoprotectant solution and lowering your body temperature down. So there's several things going on at once. The perfusion machine at the end there, you have to think of it like a dialysis machine because it takes it and it circulates the solution while it's taking out the blood and body fluids as we're lowering the body temperature. That's the short version of it. I can just email you the more technical version of it. Everything is video recorded. So that at the end of the...
Really good stuff?
Yes, well, not only that, we're learning. It's part of the science. So after everything is all done, we have a briefing. What went wrong, what went right, what we can do better. So with each case, we're trying to improve the process. So once they get down to about minus 120, they go into the cool down. So going over this way, down the hallway, going over to the patient care bay. This way.
Who actually do that? There is a standby scientist.
We have to do the cryopreservation procedure. To do the detachment, we have 2 surgeons on call, a neurosurgeon and a general surgeon, and they go ahead and take care of anybody that we need. And we have a lot of our medical response director is a certified registered nurse, a cardiovascular nurse, has head up the entire cardiovascular nurses in the hospital before he came here. Before that, we had a gentleman who, the 2 before him were paramedics from the fire department. And so they gather up nurses and all that to help us out.
I'm seeing a couple, right?
Oh yeah, we have over 125 married couples that both husband and both spouses are members. So that's, so you're not going to be here in the future.
Mostly, they're together or separate?
No, they're not in the same container because she died in 85 and he died in 97. But that was their picture they wanted us to show of them. So it's, I'll show you in a few minutes. We put them in the viewer. All right, now we'll go back over here real quick. This is Dr. Bedford. Nice picture of him. He's the very first person to be cryopreserved. This is them taking him out of his original dewar that he made himself so that we can transport him into ours. Now, if you see, he was born in 1893, and our Thailand baby was born in 2012. So our patients are now spanning 3 centuries as far as birthdays go, which is really kind of cool when you think about it. Alcor's 50th anniversary is next year, so Alcor's been around a good long time. And then from here, that's all off. I'll show you what the media is. You got the, oh, I got the blue one. This is our patient care bay.
Ah, they're actually like here?
Yeah, they're always shut the door.
So how many people is here right now?
We have 182 people. Our last one came in last Friday. We had
Really?
a gentleman come in last Friday. He was a neuro. He came in and had no
From
problem.
where?
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
So currently we have 182 people in here, and the doers themselves are divided into quadrants. As you can see here, this is a whole body pod. We could put one whole body in one quadrant, and that's a neural pod. We could put 10 neurals in one quadrant, 2 on each shelf. And then the center column there,
So each container, there's some people?
we put them in as, and then this holds 5. The way we put them in there is we have a smaller door in the back that holds the neural cases until we have 10, and then we put them into 1/4. Otherwise, the whole bodies just go in automatically. The doers themselves do not require electricity. The components you see on the front of them just tell us how much liquid nitrogen is in each container. They boil off at different rates. The ones you see over here that are not quite so shiny, those right there, they have been in use since the 1970s when Alcor was first founded. And as you can see, they slightly vary a little bit over the years. That's them, making it better, more efficient. And then that one you see at the very end, see that's the super doer. The board of directors were concerned about spacing. Membership is 55% chose whole body, 45% have chosen neuro. So what the guys did was they redesigned it. It takes up the same amount of floor space, boils off 22% less liquid nitrogen because the top, as you can see, has been thinned up there, and it can hold up to 11 whole bodies. So they've made it more efficient, and we've almost tripled our storage space just by doing some slight variations on the design. And with that, the board of directors, one of our members gave us $5 million as research donation. He wants to see it, use it right away. So the first thing the guys did was buy a CT scanner. So as soon as we get somebody down with liquid nitrogen temperature, they do a scan on them so the staff in the future can see how well they were cryopreserved. Since their body doesn't change, the picture we take today will be just as good for 150 years from now. The board gave the guys permission to start doing the scanning of all the patients, not just new ones that are coming in. That's going to take a little bit longer. The neurals are not so hard because we put the neurals in what we call neurocans. They're basically converted stock pots. The manufacturer does a special run for us because we don't need handles, and the lid has to have holes built into it. So they'll do those, but the whole body's a little more challenging because they have to stay submerged in liquid nitrogen. So the guys are going to have to basically make an ice bath, something that can go through the MRI machine, but still keep the person under.
How many people each container? 4?
4 whole bodies are up to 45 neurals, but they all vary depending on how the people came in.
So when you opened last Friday, you can see the body situation?
No, they're into the doers there. Our patient care manager, Dr. Michael Perry, he keeps track of everybody and how much liquid nitrogen is in each tank. And then he tells us where the spot is that's open. So we'll fill it up. So like we'll put one whole body, then they'll have 10 neurals come in. Then we'll put that, once we have 10 neurals, we convert them to the neuropod and put that in that 1/4, and then we fill them up that way. Currently, we have 116 neural cryopreservations in the room, and the rest are all whole bodies.
Through the years, there was a problems, like you lost somebody?
No.
No?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Like, it's the electricity shut down.
Oh, no, they don't require electricity. The components on the front just measure how much liquid nitrogen is in each tank. The doers themselves, because you're just basically submerged, they're giant flasks. They're like thermoses. They're at the very bottom of the doer, and then it's filled all the way up to liquid nitrogen. This is actually styrofoam, that's what it's made out of, and that's 3 feet down. So the members, they're actually on the bottom, and then they get like at least 3 feet of liquid nitrogen before we start with the top. So it takes a while. Like those ones, it's like the old ones boil off about 16 liters a week, whereas the new ones it's 6 or 7. So it's just, you know, as they come. They're still in good shape. There's no reason, I mean, it takes a little more liquid nitrogen, but there's no reason to change it.
That's the first one, right?
Yeah, that's Dr. Bedford's doer. And you know what's interesting about him is before they closed him off and put him in there, they put a bag of ice on his chest, you know, like from the Circle K convenience store. And when we pulled him out to put him in our doer, that ice was still intact, which meant they always kept him covered and he never got warm, which is very good. So he always stayed submerged in liquid nitrogen. Okay, so we can go back in there and I can answer your questions. All right, so how can I help you?
So, what is the condition and how we sign up?
Well, there are 2 parts to becoming a member, contracting and funding. Contracting, I need a completed Alcor application. You can do a handwritten one or you can complete it online. Once I get that, I create your contracts. There are 4 to 6 agreements depending on your choices. You'll need 2 people to sign as witnesses for you, but they cannot be family members. And no, that one doesn't apply outside the U.S. Funding, it's a $300 application fee. That gets applied to your first year membership dues, which is $660 per year. You can pay that annually, semi-annual, or quarterly. A cryopreservation outside the U.S. is $90,000. A whole body is $210,000. We do, one of our members that's in Israel does have Israeli life insurance. I couldn't tell you what the name of it offhand, but they have accepted Alcor as a beneficiary. So it's as long as you have in U.S. dollars 90 or 210,000. Alcor strongly encourages you guys to get insurance that's more than the minimum. So not 90,000. Get 150,000 if you're doing a neuro. 250, 300,000 if you're doing whole body, because the price does not stay fixed. They will increase it over time, but if you get cryopreserved before that increase, then you can leave that extra money to your family. That's not a problem. You can have more than one beneficiary on a policy, but if the price goes up, then you have that already there, because the insurance gets harder to get when you get older. As you know, people will get older. That's just how the industry works, and that's okay. That's just normal, because young people don't die as much as older people do.
So for me, I'm 28.
So you would be in the nice prime age. Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
Okay, so then getting insurance, you would basically, I would need what they call the policy summary page, insurance information, the date it was, how much it is, Alcor's a beneficiary, and it has to be in English. So you can do, I've been doing Google Translate, but it's on you to translate that in English for us. Once you have your contracts and funding in place, we send you out your ID tags and wallet cards. It's a necklace and a bracelet, depending on what you choose to wear. It's surgical steel, so it doesn't react in the water. It has your A number, your Alcor number. It's for confidentiality reasons, so we don't use your name, we just use your number. Emergency phone number. We do have, for overseas, we can do the international codes for people to call overseas. The wallet cards has more detailed information as far as what to do once you're deceased, or if you're near deceased, to call us so we can give them instructions of how to prepare and get you to Arizona. And then basically you just pay your membership dues, keep your insurance in place. Make sure you have people, loved ones around you know that you want to sign up for this. And it's also good to let us know if you have hostile family members too, so we know not to contact them. We have a lot of people that tell us, don't talk to mom, she's crazy, can't do this. I don't talk to my sister anymore, just don't contact her. But so we know who they are. We won't tell anybody because of HIPAA laws, but it lets us know if we're dealing with a hostile person or not.
So what's happened if I pay everything, but you cannot find my body? Like,
no, good question. We lost 2 members in the World Trade Center. So we knew they were gone. There's just nothing there. And you put it in your contract what to do with the money. One left it with Alcor, one left, we sent it on to the family as you need. You know, that is one of the provisions. What happens if we can't find you? Because, you know, that does happen.
Okay, and what is the best way that you avoid in the future argument with a family member, or
This is your contract is between you
I need
and
a lawyer, like to do with a video,
yes.
witnesses. What I need to do?
We have a video would be very good. I can send you a link that tells you basically all the questions that you want to have. You stand like you and I are doing, and you would have someone that's talking to you ask the questions, and then you answer them. You know, I'm Diane Cremines. I'm of Sound Mind. Today is May 11th, 2021, and it's 12 p.m. and I'm making this video of my own free will. And then you start asking questions, and then you keep a copy for yourself, and you keep a copy for Alcor, so that if anybody tries to tell us that no, he changed his mind, which does happen from time to time. We're trying to protect you as much as possible. So more people that know you want to do this, that you trust, that will be your advocate if you're incapacitated, or somebody that we can trust to, Alcor, I've seen them spend more money on legal costs to try to cryopreserve somebody than it costs to cryopreserve them. And I've been here 17 years and seen that more than once. So Alcor is very dedicated to making sure we get you cryopreserved as you wish.
Okay.
Outside the country, I have to admit, we had one lady from China. she was living in San Francisco, went home for a final treatment. She passed away there, and even though she was paid up and ready to go, her parents said no, and their government said okay, and wouldn't let us take her, so we had to give them their money back. But just so you know, outside the U.S., there are some things that are beyond our control, especially if the governments say no. You can't be French citizens can't be members because it's illegal in France for some weird reason. So there are certain countries it's good to know what their laws and regulations are about moving human remains around the world.
Okay. What happened if I'm died? They bury me on the ground. You can do something?
You can put it in your contract that even if you were, it's called criteria for cryopreservation. At this point, what point you don't want us to move forward. So we've had one person where he said, even if I'm buried, embalmed or that, still come get me, and we did. So you put it in your contract, and Alcor will do its very best, and I've seen them do their very best to try to retrieve patients, even though the family members did what you said. The only thing we can't bring you back from is cremation. There's nothing to save, so that would be considered a loss. But there is a provision in the contract that says, cryopreservation is not possible, money goes to my family. The next provision is, my family prevents this, you tell us, do they still get the money or not? So we put that in writing for you. You let us know. Most people choose no, say leave the money with Alcor. That takes away the incentive to stop the cryopreservation.
Okay, and the most important question for me, what happened with the mind, with the awareness, with the memories?
Well,
do you have the researchers?
Technically you're dead, so there's no activity going on. So think of it as like going under anesthetic. You're out and then you wake up. We don't know for sure, but we believe that's
what did you try the experience on animals?
Not right now. We have started what we call our RAPID program. We're raising money so that we can get cadavers to literally do experiments like that. We can't do it on our patients because we're expecting to bring them back.
Right.
But if we get cadavers, the closest ones to death as possible, what we can do is we have their bodies for 6 months. They can run some tests on it, and then when they're all done, as far as their tests go, then the body's cremated and we send it on to the family if they require that. So we just started that last year, and we're looking for people to donate. It's called our RAPID. If you go on our website, type in on the search RAPID, they'll bring up all the information on our cadaver project.
Okay.
So we just got our first one in about a month ago, and so that's been working.
How
so
long?
That's kind of interesting.
How long is the process to sign? The average time?
To sign the contracts, once I get everything all printed out, ready to go, I find it takes about 20 minutes for you and the 2 witnesses to get everything done. If you
An
go slowly,
hour?
an hour to sign up. I've had people come in like you did today, fill out an application, I do their contracts. 2 of our co-workers are notaries, because in the U.S. they have to be, the wills to donate your remains has to be notarized. Give me a check, I give them their tags, and they're all done. That doesn't happen as often as I would like.
Okay, I know if it's a funny question, but I don't know that there's not empty.
Everything is video recorded. We have 80% of the employees are Alcor members. The board of directors are all Alcor members. Our patient care trust, the fund that takes care of our patients in stasis and will cover the cost of, with each cryopreservation, part of the funding gets divided into 3 categories. We put $25,000 into their standby. We want to do standby on everybody, so we have an account just for that. For whole bodies, it's $60,000. That's what it costs to get you cryopreserved. And then $115,000, a little more than half, goes into our patient care trust. This trust is about $17 million, and I know I'm getting to your point. So everybody that takes care of Alcor people, they're all members, and we're all going to go through this. I don't know. I can't take them out to show you.
I know
they are
it's a little bit rude question, but
no, it's not.
important.
We've been asked that before.
Okay, but is there someone else out of Alcor that actually seen the body inside the?
Oh yeah, we've had people. We have media crews come in and all that. We actually, if you go onto our website under the videos called, I think it's called Limitless, where one of our board members allowed us to videotape his wife being cryopreserved. So we actually show you there. Other than knowing that everybody's in there, you can't go in there and look at it, but we've had family members come in and watch the whole procedure to make sure they're in cryopreservation. Linda Chamberlain, the lady co-founded Alcor, her husband's in the tank, and they actually founded Alcor to cryopreserve her father-in-law back in 1970. They founded it in 1972. They cryopreserved him, the first one, in 1976. So, I mean, other than showing you the videos, which they will not do, we do have video recording of everybody in there.
Okay, another question that people ask me is how can we bring that service to another country specific to Israel?
Honestly,
is that
like the ones in China, they hired our there's another company called ICE, International Cryonics Expert. Aaron Drake, he used to be our medical response director. He's one of the partners. Him and his partner Eric are the owners of that. He's gone to China and he basically helped them say, okay, you need this, there's the doer, and he basically helped them get started. Honestly, what you're going to need is Aaron's help and money, because it's very expensive. One doer itself costs $30,000 to make.
So when I tell you, like, I have the...
And as far as the solution goes, that's patented. That would have to go to the gentleman. That's one of our board members that owns that. You'd have to negotiate with him on that one.
Okay, so it's something that is possible.
Yeah, there's a group in Australia that's, I think they're getting close to finally opening up a facility down there. So you're not, and like I said, one's in China. Outside of the U.S., there's one in Kiev over in the Ukraine, but that's always kind of a hinky situation with Russia. But I know that they have several people there. And then there's cryonics institutes. So we don't have, we want more cryonics facilities around the world. One in Australia and one in Israel would be great. But as far as that goes, you just need to have people with, enough like-minded people and honestly the funds to do it.
Okay.
That's what over my years, that's what I've seen.
Okay, another question. Why you preserve the bodies if we can bring the same bodies from one cell?
I think it's the memories, the life memories, to save those. But, they're not really sure how memories are. We have several people that believe your memories are in your DNA, and others that think that's just in your mind. Since we're not really sure, that's why we do our best, very best to preserve the brain while we're doing the procedure.
Okay, and the last question I have for now. Probably I'm gonna have a lot of questions after that. Is there any option to split the body?
Oh, do a neural with whole body. They have 4 patients in there like that. They don't offer that anymore because it's not a very efficient procedure. So at this time, it's a no, but things may change. Alcor's been around a long time, and they may change. Maybe it might be easier to save both pieces. We don't know. Right now, they do not offer that. But we do have 4 people in there where they basically detach the head from the trunk and froze both parts.
Okay, that's all my question
Good questions.
that I remember.
Any more?
Thank you very much.
All right.
Wait, Natasha Vitamor. Okay.
Yeah, her husband, Dr. Maxmore, was our CEO before Patrick Harris. She's a very smart lady. She and another gentleman did a study on nematodes. Basically, they're tiny microscopic worms. They taught them a pathway to their food source. Then they cryoprotect them and cryopreserve them. And then when they revived them, about 80% of the nematodes remembered the pathway to their food source. So we got proof of concept that the memory is still there. Bonus, one of them was pregnant when she went into preservation, and when she came out, gave birth, normal, healthy babies. And no, I don't know if Alcor will cryopreserve a pregnant woman. We haven't come across that yet, but it's something that may happen. This is Bonnie McGee. She was our financial director, but moved on to other things. This is just one of our local members, Elaine. And then that's Linda Chamberlain. Her and her husband, Fred, founded Alcor in 1972. She's a super smart lady. She still works here. She works from home because she's in the high-risk group. She takes care of all of our case reports. So when we have a member that needs to be cryopreserved and it's all done, she takes all the information from everybody that worked on the case and presents it into a readable report of how that person was cryopreserved from the time we were notified, how well they were perfused, everything like that. And she heads up our trust department, which when we get bigger, she'll probably give up. So,
am I the first rabbi to step here?
I'm sorry?
Am I the first rabbi that step here, came here?
Oh no, we had a group of some Orthodox rabbis come in a while back
Okay.
with the hats
Interesting.
and everything. I was wearing a crucifix at the time, and he goes, "Do you think this will work?" And I was like, "I got one person that raised from the dead."
And they became members or just...
No, he just said, "Oh, Vay, what am I doing here?"
Okay.
Sorry, that's what he did. It was really, one of the younger rabbis got a bunch of older ones to come in and do a tour because, they liked the science of it and they were interested. So it was really, we got a lot of, they've had them in before, so they thought it was fascinating. I don't think they would sign up for it, but they thought it was fascinating. So.
Okay, interesting. Okay.